sport. Chanel.
Okay, Chanel, I have your product here. I've applied it on myself. Can I be a beautiful supermodel now? Welcome back to another versus battle. Today we are discussing one of the greatest fragrance lines ever created. For this time of year in the warm weather, the Allure Homme line is king. However, I do appreciate that they are pricey, and with Chanel, you're rarely ever gonna get them on discount. Actually, you're never gonna get it on discount. So you're gonna pay full retail price most of the time. So which one of these is worth your money? We're gonna go through each of them through the order of the year that it was released, and I'm going to tell you how I would rank them in terms of preference at the very end. But before we get into the video, thank you guys for 15,000 subscribers, 300,000 followers on TikTok, and 60,000 followers on Instagram. These are monumental milestones. I really appreciate your support, guys. If you want to support the channel, make sure to check out our new fragrance course, which goes through the foundations of fragrance. It's completely free. To celebrate all these milestones, guys, we're going to do another giveaway. I want you guys to, first of all, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. What is the best long-lasting summer fragrance? I'm saying at least 8 hours in longevity. Whoever wins in the comments, I will buy them any summer fragrance of their choosing. That is designer, and as long as they're from the UK, EU, or North America. Good luck, guys. I will announce the winner next week. Let's get into the video. Class is in session. Let's start off with the original Allure Homme released in 1999. In my opinion, this was a game changer. Chanel showed that a man's fragrance can be different in a more beautiful and sensual way. It doesn't have to be rugged or macho. This is a very soft and beautiful peach and wood fragrance that's very appropriate for the warm weather. I think because of that peach note that you don't usually find in men's fragrances, this makes it a unique warm weather signature. In my opinion, this is actually unisex overall, but I think any man can rock this, and it gets you compliments when people do smell it. It's not a loud projector, but I get at least 4 to 6 hours longevity with a soft projection. This is known to have been reformulated. It's not as potent as it used to be. If you're an elegant, maybe metrosexual man who wants a artistic signature to wear in the warm weather, I think you should check out the original Allure Homme. In 2004, Chanel released a heavy hitter. I think this is still a top seller for the brand. Allure Homme Sport is a citrus aquatic. It's got this bright mandarin note with aldehydes. It's bright and fresh, mixed with some woods and musk, overall giving this really fresh and soapy impression. I wouldn't say it's necessarily the most sporty fragrance I've ever smelled. I would say this is a good all-rounder instead. 8 hours performance with moderate projection, and smells very similar to Versace Pour Homme. I wouldn't recommend this fragrance if you already own that. This is fantastic for how well balanced it is. If you want to buy one Allure Homme from the line, this will be fantastic value for money. I can assure you that. 2007 was then the release of Allure Homme Sport Cologne. Now, not a lot of people talk about this fragrance in the community, so I overlooked it and I haven't bought it as a full bottle for a good reason. That is because I am broke. I tried it for the first time a few days ago, and it is an excellent fragrance. I've definitely slept on it. I think we all have. I'd say it's one of the best photorealistic citrus fragrances I've ever smelled. That's more of a gym sporty fragrance than Allure Homme Sport. It doesn't last as long. You get about 4 to 6 hours, but that combination of neroli and citrus that smells so realistic at a designer price tag makes it easily worth it. I'm definitely going to get it myself at some point. I feel like there's CK1, then there's Mugler Cologne, and then you go a level higher and it's Allure Homme Sport Cologne. Then, a year later, we were introduced to Allure Homme Edition Blanche. They have taken away the sport name from this. I think that is appropriate. This is not as sporty. In my opinion, they've gone back all the way, maxed out on elegance. This is the most Chanel fragrance I've ever smelled in my Chanel collection. This is their signature style of soft, beautiful musks mixed with sharp citruses, woods. A lot of people describe this as a lemon meringue pie, which is appropriate, I think, in the dry down, but it doesn't give credit to how bright and zingy and piercing this is. This is one of those fragrances that the smell is so perfect that every time you get a whiff in the air, you can't help but melt. It doesn't have beast mode performance. A lot of people give it flack for that. Some people say it lasts 1 hour, but I don't agree with that. Remember guys, some people can't smell certain musks, 1/3 of people can't smell musks in fragrances. For me, I'm getting a respectable 6 hours. It is a pricey fragrance in designers, but I think it's definitely worth the price tag. Buy this if you want the most perfect, elegant signature for the warm weather and you don't care about having beast mode longevity. And finally, in 2012, we have Allure Homme Sport Eau Extrême. This is technically Chanel's newest fragrance. I don't count the Bleu de Chanel flankers because they all smell very similar. This is significantly different from the original Allure Homme Sport. This is one of the first fragrances I got after I graduated actually, expecting a lot of compliments. Some people say this is the most complimented fragrance. I wore this every day to work for several months. I didn't get any compliments, but hey, some people's skin works better with certain fragrances. However, I personally still love this. This is still beautiful perfumery. Instead of going for that bright and balanced approach of the original Allure Homme Sport, this goes more into a sweeter direction. The main character here is the tonka bean. Smooth, creamy tonka bean at the base, that's then layered with sandalwood, mint and mandarin. This is even less sporty than the original in my opinion. It's still overall fresh, but I would say this is the kind of fragrance you can use as an all-rounder in the colder seasons, autumn, spring and winter. This has the best performance from the entire line, getting me over 8 hours. I do prefer this in the opening than I do in the dry down, but overall this is still an excellent fragrance. The reason I say this is one of the greatest fragrance lines ever made is because every release is fire. If I'm ranking them based on their scent alone, I'd have these two tied at last place. Don't get me wrong, these are both masterpieces, but there's fierce competition here. Second place would be Allure Homme Sport. There's always fierce debate between this and Eau Extrême. I slightly prefer the scent profile here, but there's no competition in terms of compliments. This gets me a lot. And finally, first place, I would give it to Edition Blanche. This also happens to be the most expensive in the line. I think they've probably used higher quality ingredients here compared to the rest. I don't know what they did here, but this is perfection. The way it starts off zingy, sharp and bright in the opening, becomes more smooth and creamy to that lemon meringue pie DNA this is known for. And really, I think this could have had a niche price tag on it and people wouldn't have thought about it twice. Spend a bit more and you will get the #1 highest quality summer designer fragrance out there. And that concludes the video guys. I've been wearing the Allure Homme line for years now. I'm not a beautiful supermodel yet, but hopefully I'm beautiful on the inside. And remember guys, that's what counts. Thank you again guys for your kind and positive support. I read all your comments. Make sure to check out our course in the description below. I'll see you in the next one guys. Class dismissed.